Welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're diving into the world of adaptation and evolution.
That's right. It's a fascinating topic, really. How life on Earth finds ways to survive and thrive.
We'll be looking at some recent research, just a snippet actually, that shows just how complex this whole process is.
More than meets the eye, definitely.
Now, I have to admit, when I hear adaptation, I immediately think of those classic examples like Darwin's finches.
Oh yeah, the finches, a classic example.
But there's so much more to it, right?
Yeah.
What are some things we might miss when we first learn about this stuff?
Well, one thing is that we tend to think of adaptation as this slow, gradual thing.
Yeah, like happening over millions of years.
Exactly. But honestly, there are so many examples of species evolving really quickly.
Really? Like how quickly are we talking?
I mean, think about the pippered moth in England during the Industrial Revolution. Soot from factories was, covering the trees, making them darker.
Oh, right. I remember learning about that.
The later moths suddenly stood out, easy prey for predators. But within just a few decades, boom, the moth population was mostly dark.
Wow, that's incredible. That's natural selection at work, right?
Right on. Natural selection favors the traits that help an organism survive and reproduce in a specific environment.
So it's not always about being the biggest or strongest or fastest.
Nope, not necessarily. Fitness, in evolutionary terms, means being able to pass on your genes. Sometimes that means blending in, like the moths. Sometimes it means attracting mates or getting to those hard-to-reach resources.
Makes sense. It's about being the best fit for your specific environment, not necessarily the best overall.
Exactly. And natural selection isn't the only player in this game.
Oh, right. There are other ways evolution happens.
Absolutely. There's mutation, where random changes happen in an organism's DNA. These mutations, they can be good, bad, or neutral. It all depends on the context.
It's like rolling the dice a bit, right?
Yeah.
Just adding some randomness to the mix.
Precisely. And then there's gene flow, where genes mix between different populations. Think of it like introducing new ingredients into a recipe.
So we have natural selection, weeding things out, mutation, shaking things up, and then gene flow, mixing things together. It all sounds pretty dynamic.
Oh, it is. It's like a complex dance. But that's what leads to all the incredible diversity we see in nature.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture.
Mm.
It's not just one thing, but this interplay of different forces. It reminds me of Darwin's finches, those birds on the Galápagos Islands.
Oh, yes, the textbook example.
They all have these different beaks, perfectly shaped for the food they eat on their specific island.
Right. The finches are a perfect illustration of how adaptation can lead to entirely new species. It's incredible. And what's even more fascinating?
What's that?
Recent research suggests that hybridization, that's when different species interbreed, might have played a role in their evolution too.
So it's not even as simple as separate species evolving independently.
Nope. Evolution can get messy. It blurs the lines we try to draw between different species.
Wow, that's amazing. It makes you realize just how much we still don't know.
Hmm.
And with all the environmental changes happening now, with climate change and everything,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, can species adapt fast enough to keep up?
That's the big question, isn't it? Some species are showing incredible resilience, but others, well, their future is uncertain.
It feels like understanding adaptation is more important now than ever.
Absolutely. The more we learn about these mechanisms, the better we can protect the incredible biodiversity we have on this planet.
This has been a fascinating deep dive, really. We've gone way beyond the simple definitions to see how complex and dynamic adaptation truly is. It's an ongoing story, and we are all part of it.
Exactly. And who knows what the next chapter will hold?
That's something to ponder. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.